All right, welcome everybody. We see a few people dropping in. So let's wait one more minute. I'll give us all 60 seconds before we kick this off. Welcome to this webinar, ITONICS featuring the Innovation Roundtable Summit 2025. It's a pre-event webinar that we will be hosting for you. And hope to see you all at the conference, by the way. So we'll start in about 30 seconds. We'll give it a few more seconds. All right, we have 1 minute past 2 o'clock. We want to make sure that we're on time for you. So again, welcome everybody. So my name is Chris. I am the CEO of ITONICS. And then we have Johannes also in the call, who is responsible for our product as Senior Product Manager. And today, this is not a sales pitch, and that's also not a marketing pitch, but what we actually want to do is to share our observations and our experiences on how artificial intelligence actually delivers a so-called ROI, so return of investment, across the innovation funnel already today. Because we see there is a lot of experimentation, a lot of interest, and also, of course, a lot of skepticism of how artificial intelligence actually can deliver value. Because as always, with new foundational technologies, there is a lot of noise and there is a lot of experimentation as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you a few concrete cases as to how AI actually can be applied in a useful way across the innovation funnel. Before we do that, just in case you never heard of ITONICS, just a few words about us, what we do, how we help organizations in this space. So we help companies go from spreadsheets to a future-ready portfolio. And we do this by using and deploying our innovation operating system, our enterprise innovating operating system, that can help discover, prioritize, and then deliver what's next. So we help organizations spot emerging technologies, emerging trends, and then also opportunities early, of course, ideally ahead of the competition, for sure. Prioritize them accordingly to the strategy to make sure you have higher confidence in deploying capital and resources, internal and external resources, on the right topics, on the right investments. Will also help you to get more transparency and clarity on what's actually going on, so where the money is being spent, who's working on what, how milestones look like, how the budgets look like. And then we'll also ensure you can innovate and co-innovate with the right partners. And we do this in one platform, that's the innovation operating system that we deploy to our customers. So we're more than 15 years now on the market. We have more than 140 trusted people around the globe. We're in Germany, we're in France, we're in the US, East Coast, in Miami. We're also in Asia and Africa. So we have offices around the world as a true global organization. And then we have 500 and then more organizations that actually trust the solutions that we build, which is mainly the innovation operating system. And we do this across every industry, across Fortune 500 and beyond. We don't have really a focus on an industry because innovation is different per industry for sure. But then ultimately, it has become more important than ever. And today we're going to share at least three use cases, how artificial intelligence works, as mentioned before, across the innovation funnel. Before we go into the system, we want to make sure we can share our perspective on the state of corporate innovation today. Because we believe that soon we will look back at how organizations innovated, and we will think, because if we will be treating the kind of intelligence that is emerging right now, artificial intelligence with all its forms, as optional, I think in hindsight, it will be seen as a severe failure of leadership. Because if you're not using it, if you're not using specific intelligence capabilities today in innovation, in corporate development, in research and development, you're actually choosing or actively choosing slower development cycles and also wasted capital over a new way to manage innovation and R&D. And that is because we think every organization actually lives at the intersection of at least 3 different realities. So the first one is the external environment of a company. So this is all the market and trend signals outside the organization. And they are, for example, external shifts that will be but still, these signals are coming at you, at your organization from the outside, and you have to deal with them in one or the other way. Then the next part is, of course, the company situation inside. So your current state of operation, which includes capabilities, for example, core technology, know-how, and which also includes resources. That's talent, that is infrastructure. And then, of course, the third reality is the future, the direction, the strategy and the bets that you, the company, the team is taking. So to say, this is where to play and where you are placing your bets. Yeah. And of course, alone, each of them is rather incomplete. But if you combine them in a very sophisticated way, then signals, situation, and strategy really become focused intelligence that will help you make better and also faster decisions. So what we're doing here is we're bringing these data points and that intelligence all onto one single platform, which exactly is the innovation operating system of ITONICS. Now, the question is, why does it even matter, right? And I think it matters because as you currently experience, we are entering a different kind of economy. We're entering an economy that, maybe called the intelligence economy. And in this economy, intelligence is not only artificial, as we say, artificial intelligence, but intelligence is actually even more. It is abundant, it is agentic, and it is amplified. And so abundant intelligence in this new economy means that you already today, you have access to high-end intelligence. And that access to high-end intelligence is no longer scarce. And we already see this because for some jobs, some tasks that need to be done on a daily basis even, and the cost of those tasks and those jobs is really it's trending towards zero. It's basically trending towards the cost you have to pay AI models. So we believe that in the future, Winner will actually ask, how many tasks can I run in parallel instead of how many people do I need to complete this and that job? So that is, for example, running dozens of environmental scanning technologies, startup scouting tasks in parallel, instead of just queuing them up for a couple of months and then having to look at all those results and summarize all those results. So you'll be much, much faster with access to abundant intelligence to run those tasks. And then agentic intelligence basically means that you have the possibility to use software, and software that's not just answering your requests as we have it today, but software that actually does jobs in a proactive way for you. And by the way, that's not prompt engineering or context engineering. This is templates that are ready to be deployed at any stage of R&D and innovation, the R&D and innovation funnel, with the goal, obviously, to improve speed and quality. And The interesting thing is if you now pair this together with the abundance of high-end intelligence, that's basically like your 24/7, you're always on team that never sleeps, that can perform recurring tasks for you that help make the innovation funnel and the innovation process better. And then, of course, maybe even the biggest lever we have right now is that your intelligence, so yours personally, but also your team, your organization, actually will become amplified by using AI tools. So, for example, if you are already good at making strategies, coming up with fantastic ideas, then using that sort of focused intelligence that we've built will make you and the team 10x better. And if you struggle in a different area, like keeping track of all new technology developments, then we have you covered because we can do these tasks for you, or the system can do those tasks for you and help you actually be better. So the baseline kind of is that AI in this case is not a competitor to your job in this case, but that's more of an amplifier. And of course, the person that's using the amplifier, this will be your competitor, but not AI itself. So I think the opportunity really is to understand artificial intelligence as amplified intelligence in this case for everyone who uses it. So we, at ITONICS, the idea is simple, right? We want to make innovation systematic. We want to make it scalable. We make it secure. We do it enterprise grade. And I think we can all agree that change will only keep on accelerating. So what our purpose is that we're giving you the tools to deal with that acceleration and to make sure we can help you to actually build the future. So that's the entire idea. And so let's use the next 20 minutes or so, and Johannes will give you a comprehensive overview of specific AI workflows that you can already run today and that you can use to speed up and also make higher quality decisions.
Okay, thanks a lot, Chris. Thanks for the nice introduction here. As Chris said, I'm Johannes. I'm Senior Product Manager here at ITONICS, responsible for our product and especially the AI stream. So what I'm trying to do here is to show you the theory that Chris explained to you in practice, right? So I'm going to present 3 concrete use cases here. The first one I want to do is how to accelerate the research in Foresight. Then we're going into the make, buy, or partner decision and ideation. And ultimately, I will use our agentic AI to analyze the project portfolio health in a strategic angle, right? So that's the 3 use cases we're going to look into today. As you see, I've already shared my screen. So let's do that very tangible, right? So let's put ourselves in the shoes of, let's say, an R&D technology manager at a very large automotive software company. So what's the biggest challenge? So every day new patents are published, new research appears, competitors release updates. So it's impossible for any human being to keep up with all these changes, right? So the question is, how can we turn this flood of information into focused intelligence and truly accelerate the research process? That's exactly what we look into now. So how to accelerate the research process with AI. So as you can see on the screen, we at ITONICS always recommend to do everything in a systematic and structured way. Here we have our radar visualization, which holds already existing technologies. So it's quite simple what it does. It's the closer to the sensor a technology is, the more relevant is it for our company, right? And it's very heavy, the research process, to find all these technologies, to put them on the radar, to segment them, to categorize them, to rate them. And for that purpose, we can basically use our Prism AI. So I will just throw a prompt against the AI and I will ask it, scan recent patents and research articles and create relevant emerging technologies for me. Right? What it does now, and as Chris explained, there's the outside world, there's the inside world, and there's the strategy. It will go first now into the inside world and look at the radar and identify which technologies we are already aware of, basically, right? So that it doesn't produce any duplicates. The next step it will now go outside to our signals pool, which consists of millions of data points, has news in it, has patterns in it, has research in it, and scan it for relevant technologies that fit into our company environment, basically, right? So as you can see, we already get some reasoning back. We have taken an agentic AI approach here. So there's an elements agent, there's a signals agent, there's a supervisor. They can all communicate with each other, and they have all dedicated tasks they can execute, right? So now the elements agent has compared what is existing already. The signals agent goes out, checks out the newest technologies on the market, and will then return a result for us, which we can then review, basically. So if we give it a couple of seconds, it should come back to us with any results. It produces reasoning, and here we go. So it says the current technology landscape is basically this. And now it produces basically, it came back with 3 emerging technologies, right? So there is neuromorphic computing, there is vehicle to everything communication, and there is synthetic data generation for autonomous driving, right? So 3 kind of cutting edge technologies which we didn't have on our radar yet. So what I can do next is now, as you can see, there is a little accept or reject button, or also bulk accept or reject button, is I can review these technologies. I take my time here, and if I think these technologies are quite fitting for me, I can just accept them, and then they will be plotted on my radar. So you are still in full control. The AI is nothing, it does nothing without your supervision. This is the human in the loop concept we enforce here. And if we click accept all, it will now start to generate these new 3 technologies. And as you can see, they are outputted on the radar here, but they are not categorized and segmented yet, right? So that's the next step, to further enrich it with more data. But before we do that, you might be wondering, why did it already produce like technologies that are relevant for the autonomous industry, right? If you look at my prompts, I didn't put too much effort in, to be honest. I didn't talk about the automotive industry or who I am or where I am. So that's basically a concept we call the master context, right? And you can configure it here. So you can simply describe the mission, the focus, the key goals, the strategy of this workspace or of your organization. And with that, the AI knows basically who you are and what you're doing, what your goals are, right? And with every prompt you're throwing in it, it always contextualizes with what is written in here, right? The supervisor takes care of it. So that's the one way of contextualizing it. But there's also a second way. So if you basically collect your strategy also inside our system and not even necessarily in PowerPoint, you can also do that. You can also connect an element type here, like for instance, the strategic focus field, which basically continuously updates the context as well, right? So if you also want to manage your company strategy, you can also connect this element type here, and then every answer is basically always tailored to your strategic direction. So this mechanism ensures that the answers are highly relevant, and it distinguishes us also from tools like ChatGPT because it doesn't necessarily connect to your reality, right? Unless you feed all the information in there, but that's not what you do with these tools, because you need a management surrounding for that. And also security-wise, this needs to be sound. So that's where we have, that's basically differentiation we have. So that's the master context concept. I will just exit here and then go back to the task at hand, right? We said like, we found now 3 new technologies. You can also ask it for more, or you can ask why it did exclude some technologies. For instance, it can answer everything basically. And now we're going to ask it, can you segment the technologies you found, right? Because we want to further categorize it. we have these radar, which consists of different segments, so that we have an overview of where we should operate and what kind of directions the technologies are coming at us. So we can do a simple categorization with the help of our Prism tool here. And again, the AI starts its work here basically, and will come up with a segmentation result. Again, you can see it uses the context here, and it will also give us a reasoning so we know how it basically came to these conclusions, right? And as you can see, it takes now the 3 technologies, or even more, we had, because there's some uncategorized, and we can see, okay, the deep learning algorithms is for driving is in autonomous driving and ADAS. Predictive maintenance system is in advanced manufacturing. What else do we got? Vehicle to everything is connected vehicles and IoT integration. So it basically segments everything automatically, right? And again, I can review if this is fitting for me, and if I agree, I can simply accept all, and you will see that the dots start to move here, and everything will be basically categorized, right? Right, so keep accepting it. And then we can basically also rate these technologies. So if I type in, can you rate the technologies you found, then it will now go through the pool of technologies we have here and start the rating process. So it just takes a bit, but what it produces is again highly relevant because it leverages the context, and it will also give us back a reasoning per rating criteria why it rated like that, right? So it's not just like contextless ratings that are not relevant to your organization or something like that. It makes sure that we are in line and we can actually use these ratings. However, I would always recommend to double check the ratings and to make sure this is aligned, and also your experts are consulted here, right? So we're going over the ratings here, and then as you can see, the ratings coming back here. So there's again this example of V2X edge computing, and we can see that these rating criteria are all rated. And if I hover over them, like for instance, potential impact, I will also get basically a reasoning why this was rated like that, right? And again, I can accept the results if I like them. If I don't like them, I don't need to accept them. And then the dots start to move again here. And as simple as that, I have created basically a radar, updated the radar, kept up to date with the technologies that are outside, and rated them basically within a meaning what that does mean for me with the overall technology relevance, right? So this is basically the first use case. You can save a lot of research time with that, and then we will move on to the next one, right? So let's say we have all the technologies on the radar we want now, and the next question is, what do we do with these technologies, right? So we can look over them, and we might see that these are like, there's a lot of technologies using AI here in this autonomous driving world. That's no secret, of course. But in our organization, I don't really know, are we leveraging these technologies already, or should we start to leverage these technologies, right? So the next step I would take here is I would spin off a focus field, basically, right? Which I can name applied AI in, let's say, autonomous automotive software, right? So I can write a little abstract if I like, and then I can publish the strategic focus field, right? So now this focus field is here for us to basically connect all the information, right? It connects basically the technologies we found we can simply relate them. So let's say we found Edge AI, for instance. We found another AI technology. So we basically can connect everything together here, technology-wise. And then we can also describe this strategic focus field, what that basically means for us, right? And again, we can use our AI here. So we can just ask it, for instance, to describe this field using the 3 horizons framework and return in a table structure, right? So we just execute the prompt here, and then you will see it will automatically produce a description for us, right? So you have basically every framework at your fingertips. You can use whatever you want. You're completely free to prompt it, and the description will be automatically produced for you, right? And here it comes back, nicely structured, fully integrated into the system, not writing something into ChatGPT, pasting it over, and also relevant with the framework, right? So it says like where we can apply AI in Horizon 1, in Horizon 2, and in Horizon 3. Of course, again, we need to review that. We need to maybe rewrite it a bit so that it's fitting, but that's a very easy approach of describing these fields, right? So, and if I like it, I can just insert it and save it. Yeah, of course, I can iterate as well on it if I want to, but for now, we just accept that, right? So now we've built up a focus field. We know which technologies are out there. And the next question is, okay, what are we actually doing with this applied AI in software focus field? So the logical step before we go even into like the internal view, what do we already know about applied AI and where do we actually use it? We can do a simple market scan, right? So we can find out who is leveraging this technology and who is leveraging it already in the automotive software industry. Because I might not even need to do something because I can start a partnership or I can buy a company basically to apply that in my organization, right? So what I can simply do is here, I can do a prompt which says like, find startups in the automotive industry that apply artificial intelligence to areas such as autonomous driving, software-defined vehicles, connected cars, or intelligent vehicle control, right? And with that, I go again in the outside world into the signals pool I explained before, and I try to find relevant startups that exactly are playing with that technology already or started to implement some serious use cases, right? And in that way, again, I'm saving a lot of research effort because I don't need to do all of this manually. I can just use the AI and then collect everything in our system and again, manage its structure in a structured way, right? So we see the element agents already at work. It successfully identified 6 new startups. And again, it produced here the 6 startups with a title, with a summary. It already allocated it to the first process step, to the detected step. And again, it's our duty to do the human in the loop here, go through these startups, and if we like it, then we can accept them, right? I will quickly switch the view here to a startup funnel. So this is a board view where we already collect startups. So these are the existing startups already. But now with the AI, we have found 5 or 6 new startups. So we can accept the suggestion here. And it should automatically, as you can see, output them on the board here. And then we can start to manage them in a structured way, right? We can start to contact them. We can do a further analysis. We again can use AI with the description here to connect all the data or to describe it further, and then manage them down the funnel and try to find out if there is a partnership opportunity or if we can buy a patent or if we even buy the company, right? So that is basically the make or buy case and how you can accelerate your time here. All right. Then we'll go into the last use case I want to show you. This is basically the strategy case. So I found the startups I know I have my technologies. So the question now that remains is, what am I actually doing already, right? What is happening inside my company already? Because no company starts basically from scratch. So everyone has already a project portfolio at hand usually. And these project portfolios, they start to grow quite fast. And they are sometimes like you try or you lose track about these portfolios. So what you can do here again with Prism is you can do a simple prompt here. We first let the AI explain what basically the current company strategy is, right? Because that is also a topic. Strategy is usually like communicated once a year. People tend to forget about it. It's not really connected somewhere. It's lying around in a PowerPoint. I often see that. So that means if we have it here in our system and we have it in the context, everything contextualizes, and you can even ask what the strategy is. And here we go. We are an automotive software company. We focus on unified platforms, on autonomous driving, on digital services, and on open source and ecosystems, right? These are basically our strategies, our priorities. And with one prompt, I know what these strategies are. Now here comes the interesting part. So we can now say, because we want to analyze the health of our project portfolio, we can now say, list all the ongoing projects and identify which ones strongly support our current strategy. Clearly explain which project should be discontinued, including concise reasoning based on strategic alignment and expected impact, right? So what we're essentially doing is we're trying to find out which projects stick to our strategy and which ones started to drift or don't really focus on what really matters for us, right? So again, if I'm opening the reasoning, the element agent start, it scans now all the relevant projects that are within our portfolio. So we'll quickly switch the view here again to the projects that are already in our system here. And then it will start to analyze these projects and compare it basically to the current strategy we have in the company, right? So here we go. These are all the projects, 13. And now it will start to categorize them, right? Tier 1, core strategic projects that are basically quite fitting. Then important supporting projects, tier 2. And then it also recommends projects for discontinuation, right? There's apparently a project which focuses on vintage car restorations and parts manufacturing. And there's also a luxury vehicle interior customization studio. So something not really that fits to our strategy, right? So that is basically a touch point where you as a portfolio manager can say, okay, I will speak to, or as a strategy manager can say, okay, I will speak to these guys. Is this really something we need to do? Can we maybe not reallocate the budget to something that is more efficient? We also get an estimated budget recovery. So we can say we focus on what really matters and not going for these projects, right? This project portfolio is rather small with 13 projects, but in reality, you might have hundreds of projects. And so you can analyze these portfolio just within a couple of seconds, and you don't need to go through, I don't know, hundreds of projects and then try to find an answer what is misaligned and what not, right? So it's a very good tool for analyzing, you know? And here you can save a lot of money, as you can see. All right, that's basically it. That are the 3 use cases alongside the innovation funnel, how our answer to agentic AI, which we call Prism, is helping you. Yeah, over to you, Chris.
Well, thank you. Thank you also for the quick run about. It's really nice. I'll actually would want to direct now the floor to the audience. So in case there are any questions, we would be more than happy to answer them right now. There is a chat on the right-hand side window. You can click it. So if there's any question, feel free to use the opportunity right now. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure, we'll meet each other, at the Innovation Roundtable conference next week in Copenhagen. We also have a booth over there, so it will be easy to find us, and we'd be more than happy to also give you a customized demonstration, or just have a chat, or stop by for a drink, whatever you want. So that's going to be great. So if there are any questions, please write them in the chat right now or raise your hand. And if not, let's meet. Thank you for the feedback, John. Really appreciate it. And I see there is not really any question. Yeah, so in that case, I think Johannes and I will be more than happy to give you back some of your time, because I'm pretty sure you're very busy. Everybody's busy these days. So I'd like to say thank you. Thanks for participating. Thanks also to Innovation Roundtable Summit for the opportunity. And also thanks, Johannes, of course.
Thank you, Chris. It was a pleasure.
All right, everybody, have a good day. See you.
Bye-bye.